Our neighbor just up and disappeared in the middle of the night and went back to the US. And when we found this out, we were not surprised. We kind of have thought for a while that she wasn't really a great fit for kind of this lifestyle. She didn't really have any friends. She kind of kept to herself. She never really incorporated into our community or into the larger kind of expat community in Playa or even the local communities. She kind of just kept to herself, was very isolated. Um, we had dinner with her a few times, and she always kind of continued to cook American dishes, which is fine, but you can't always find all the ingredients for those things. And it didn't really seem like she had broadened her palate or her interests beyond kind of what she already knew. In general, she just didn't really have a lot of context about what was going on down here and kind of kept to herself, and we didn't really think she was very happy. So when we found out that she went home, we weren't overly surprised to find that out because it was kind of like a matter of when, not if, right? So what could she have done better? Whenever you move to a new place, there are a few different ways that you meet people. In her situation, she had a family, and so in some ways, if you have a family and you're kind of in that stage of life, you by default will have a community because you need to have support, especially if you're an expat family, you need support. And sometimes you make friends with other families only because the only thing you have in common is you need mutual support. There's no interest. You just go like, hey, like, can you help us out here? And I'll help you out here. You drive the kids today. I'll drive them tomorrow. There's kind of a mutual need there. But if you want to go beyond that, there are lots of interests. There's foodie groups, language exchange groups, play dates for the beach, ladies' nights, guys' night outs. There's spiritual groups, language exchange groups. There are cooking groups. There are diving and scuba groups. And, you know, all these awesome groups exist, but you'll never know about them because they happen inside WhatsApp. So there is a group of people here who maintain some Google Sheets to help try and consolidate these different WhatsApp and Telegram groups and to try and um, help you find things that are interesting to you to make these more discoverable. So I went together and created my own page that sort of consolidates all these different Google Sheets into one page. So you can go to my page, which I'll have in the description, click on that, and then it has a link to these other spreadsheets and other resources that other people maintain. So I'm not claiming ownership of them. I'm just sort of aggregating them to help you find your tribe when you move to Mexico. Let's take a look. Here's a document that I put together that's ultimately just a document of links to resources that other people maintain and curate. I'm not claiming any ownership over these, just showing that they exist and helping promote the discoverability of these resources. So if you look here, one of the first things you look at is you get here, you may or may not have a car. You're going to want to take the Colectivo or the Combis. Here is the route map for all of those Colectivos or Combis. You can click on it. It'll tell you the name of the line. This is the Linea Rosa, so on and so forth. You can see that. It's not rocket science. So the next link is the Playa del Carmen super list of WhatsApp and Telegram groups. You can see right here, this is the name of the group or the chat. Here's the link to join it. This is what it's about. This is what platform it's on. I believe this is the number of users. And this is kind of updates or comments that people can make about, maybe the group is inactive or whatever. But as you can see in here, there are a lot of groups, 180. There's also an outside of Playa for other kind of expat communities where you can find things that you're interested in if you're going to visit somewhere, if you're thinking of relocating, or maybe you want to explore expat destinations outside of Playa. The next link I listed is called the newest PDC resource super list. I don't really know who maintains this one, but it is another list similar to the previous one. It's a little more organized, I believe. But again, you can see there are all kinds of chats and interest groups here. 156 in here. There's also a referral list for kind of vetted people that aren't going to take advantage of you, volunteering projects, real estate groups, co-working places. Another outside of Playa one if you're going to if you're looking at going to different cities and things like that. There's a list of discounts in here that people sort of publicly put in here. These aren't really vetted. It's like what you might be able to expect. But again, with Mexico, the most expected thing is that you can expect the unexpected. So let's have some IDs for you. You might consider calling them before you go and just verifying that. They also have this last best in Playa they're working on, I think, restaurant lists and things like that. Last one I linked here is called the Playa del Carmen Resident Discounts. This is another sheet that someone maintains. Again, you can see kind of the location, the type, the discount, and then if it's been verified. I don't maintain this, but it should give you an idea of what to expect, or something you can call and ask about. The very last link I have here is a co-working location map. I didn't link this one initially because I think it's a little bit out of date. I know, for example, some of these locations are have closed, like these three right here. And I know there's a new co-working location somewhere along the highway right here that's not on here. So I listed it here to maybe get you started, but I don't know that it's being currently updated. So I hope that shows you the wide variety of groups that are available here in Playa so that you can make friends based on your mutual interests. This is one of the things that's nice about moving to an expat community like Playa del Carmen, where there's lots of expats, is that there's lots of community kind of resources because expats don't have family. And so you have people who curate these sorts of experiences to help people find each other and connect with each other. One thing to keep in mind is you don't have to wait until you get here to join these groups. You can join these groups right now and start just kind of observing, be the sheep that walks into the pasture and kind of just nibbles around the edge and watches and sees, how things go. And you might find people that have things in common. One thing I remember early on, we joined these groups like a year and a half before we moved down here. And I remember seeing people in the groups who had the same area code as me, for example, in their WhatsApp phone number. And so I could reach out to them like, hey, what part of Utah are you from? Or, hey, I see you have X, Y, and Z in common, and you kind of learn to make some friends and they'll be like, oh yeah, are you guys thinking of coming down here? Oh, you should live in my neighborhood. It's awesome because X, Y, and Z. And so then you start getting these kind of friends and connections before you even come down here, which makes it such a softer landing when you're trying to make this international move with your family and everything's on fire. And, it's just nice to have some feet on the ground, some people that can show up for you. So I hope this helps with the discoverability issue, and it helps you to see that you can have support when you move here. And I hope this shows you where to find your tribe when you get brave enough to make the move. See you in the next video.